Hello. Oh, I'm not live yet. Hello, hello, hello. So I am live for the first time on both platforms, and so welcome to my YouTube family, as well as my Instagram family. So this I'm still figuring this social media stuff out. So just bear with me. So happy Saturday, Saturday, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. I like to say Merry Christmas. We want to identify Christ. Amen. So happy Saturday and Merry Christmas to you. Today, well, first of all, let me introduce myself because many people don't know who I am. So my name is Miranda Leverett. I am a licensed therapist. And it is right now, my current assignment is to help men. Amen. Obviously, God's agenda right now is restoring men. It is restoring men. It is restoring families. And I just happen to be a vessel that God is using in this hour to help men heal and in his agenda in restoring men and them being reconciled unto their Father. So, with that said, today I am focusing on men who are bashing other men. For the last, obviously, I highlight things and I bring things to discussion and that God highlights to me. One of the things for the past several weeks that's happened is that I've seen a lot of content um, and even just posts in general of men complaining about other men, bashing men. And I'm going to talk briefly about the complaints and then I want to talk about what we can do about it. Because the issue is that we have to change, it has to change. It has to change. We cannot continue to uh, bash each other. We cannot continue to put each other down. It first started out with women, bashing men. And I discussed that. And now it's men bashing men. So we got to change this narrative and so let's talk briefly about some of the complaints and from men about other men. And so I'm seeing a lot of complaints about men who are not working, men who are not working, men who, let's say, are living with their mothers who are single and maybe their mother is struggling and they're not working to help her. um, you know, and yes, so these are things that men are complaining about. Men who are not walking in their calling, their in purpose. Men who are not, or better yet, men who aren't doing anything with their lives. Um, Men who are living with women and not helping or contributing to the household in any way. These are common complaints that I'm seeing. Now, with that said, it's not to say that these complaints are not valid. They are very valid complaints. However, um, what we cannot do is um, to change the situation. We cannot bash one another. We cannot bash one another. And so if a man, so this is to say that if a man is not working, if a man is not contributing, if he's not helping out, if he's not, supporting his children, his household, and things like that, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. There's an underlying reason why this man is not helping. There's a reason why he has been crippled in some way and not helping. And so, what has to change is that we cannot bash men. Men, you should not be bashing your fellow brethren, but much rather looking at him in a different light and trying to figure out what is the source of this? What is the source of this? Why is my fellow brother not motivated to go to work? Why is my fellow brother not motivated to contribute to his household? These are questions we should be asking. These are questions we should be asking. And so rather than bash this man, let's figure out what is there. What is that underlying issue that has crippled him from being what he is called to be, to lead, to cover his family, his children, his wife, his household, his family. So we've got to figure out what are these underlying issues that's preventing this man from doing what he should as a man, right? So, and I think that I saw a live, so I want to share this because I saw a live of this gentleman saying, boss up, you laying in the bed, boss up, it's money to be made. Well, that's very true. There is money to be made. But I think it's one thing to tell somebody to boss up. Well, we have so when we're challenging somebody to boss up. Well, we have to also consider uh, what is this man? Does this man have the skills to boss up? Does he have the necessarily education, training to boss up? Does he have what he needs to boss up? Yeah. So does he even know what he should be doing to boss up? These are questions that this man may not know. And so I think to say that, we've got to look at a broader picture of why our brothers are struggling. We have to look at the broader picture. And it's not beneficial or helpful to criticize a man when we don't know his story, when we don't know what it takes every day for him to even just wake up. That's rough. That's rough. And if God is restoring men, we too, even as men, fellow, and I'm speaking to my brothers, even as men, you have to be compassionate. You have to be open, and also looking at your fellow brethren in a different light to say, my brother, what's happening? Are you okay? How can I help? And if this, how can I help you? And specifically, if you are in a better place than another brother and you see your fellow brothers struggling, I think it's going to be more beneficial to help him and offer a lending hand, a helping hand, rather than to criticize and put this man down for reasons we have no idea. What I will say is a lot of men obviously are dealing with trauma. That's a very real thing. That is an area that I focus on. A lot of men are dealing with trauma. It has not been addressed, hasn't been confronted. And so they suppress it. They suppress it. Um, they don't have, and I've talked about this countless other times. They don't have safe spaces. There are things that they don't have that they need to have adequate support and community, amen, to grow and to change these areas. So that's another problem. That's another issue. And so these are obviously things that obviously God is changing, and there are spaces that are being created, even on my end, but there are spaces being created that are going to change that. And in that process, we have to be compassionate. And this assignment is not just for Miranda. There will be other people helping men, but as fellow men, who, if you are in a place where you are doing well, where you are properly leading your family, your children, your wife, you are working, and you have to now be the example, the light, amen, for your fellow brethren, to help him, to pour into him, to correct him, but also help edify him, amen. And so that's what has to happen amongst fellow brethren, amen. Not criticism. We can complain all day. We can complain about men. We can complain about women. We can complain about politics in the world. There are so many things we can complain about, right? There are things we see every day that are not right. But what does it change? What is complaining changing? It's not fixing anything. We have to fix it. We have to fix it. We have to change. We have to change. And we have to be better rather than criticizing people. We have to encourage. We have to pour into them, and we have to meet them where they are so that we can be a light and example, rather than someone who is criticizing and bashing them, right? And I want to speak to. I know there we see this a lot where you have a man who is living with a woman and he's not working or helping contribute to the household. So I was speaking to trauma. Now I'm going to speak to enabled behavior. Some of these issues are enabled behavior. Um, Obviously, as a woman, and I'm not talking about people that's married, because they're going to be in marriage. There are seasons that will change, where a woman might be contributing more than her husband, and vice versa. So it just, that's everybody. It's a different in everybody's household, and that's under the household of marriage. But for people, just in general, if um, when you as a woman have allowed a man to come in your house and and with no expectations, with no to work, and you have provided everything that he needs, uh, and therefore there's been nothing expected of him to lead, to cover, to carry. That's enabling. And I think, and to be honest, and this is not just for women. I mean, wives in general, wives, but I'm talking about mothers. These are things that we've seen, even within mothers. They have, there's been enabled behavior. Also, because again, this goes back to leadership. We need men, fatherless homes. We need men, but also just women who are just taking in men because I need a man. And or and so as long as he's here, I don't care if he worked, because he in my house, and I have him at my disposal. That kind of enabled behavior. This man is not going to help you if there's no expectations. There, he's been handed everything. And so there's a crippling of men in that regard, who are in relationships, and there are no expectations from women, and women just choose to take care of men. You got a lot of that. So there are just so many things that have to change. And it's not okay. I think it's not okay, again, to bash these men, but rather figure out what is crippling him. How can I help? How can I be a light? How can I be an encouragement and a helper to him in this process, rather than bashing him and criticizing him? Your complaints, to my brothers, your complaints are very valid. They're very valid. To see someone living with their mom and not helping when they know their mother is struggling, that's rough. It's rough. It's rough to watch. I think it's very rough to watch a man not support his family or lead his household. I think all of those things are not good. These are all things that should be changing, because, again, this is God's agenda in the earth. And that is the role for men to lead. And so these are things that have to change, but they have to change with us putting together. We have to move forward in action, and stop complaining, but rather put together work, move forward and work, put action behind what we see, to fix it, to change it. Um, Obviously, with God's leading, but we can help one another. That's what it's about. We're not here to put down our fellow brothers at all. That's not what it's about. But let's uplift them. Let's edify them. Let's pour into them. Let's correct them when they need to be corrected, and lift them up. Amen. That's what has to happen. So I pray that this has been helpful. Um, I pray that the narrative will change. That men, instead of bashing your brother, instead of complaining about your brother, that you will lift out a hand to help him. That you will pray for him. That you will encourage him, and just desire the best for him. Amen. So that is my prayer. Um, I pray that you have been blessed by this word, and continue to tune in for future words regarding our men. So, as always, man, I'm rooting for you. I love you. God bless you. And I thank God that He is that you are on the hearts of the heart of our God, and He desires you. He loves you, and I'm just looking forward to your transformation. So take care. God bless, and I will see you in the next live.